lot of times I'm driving, there's nothing to do, and I shuffle through the radio before I unglue. There's a lot of red on ways, it's traffic, I'm screwed, and I'm wired a bit different than a regular dude. It's not a bad thing, I embrace it, it's true. The radio don't stimulate brain chemistry fluid. The Buddha found nirvana and the Four Noble Truths. Through a meditative process, right action he proved. For me, I require the use of a tool, a detector, pin, pointer, shovel, and beach scoop. I'm meant to work the dirt with my history crew, but everywhere I look, my interest taboo. Most people choose Bieber over Tippecanoe. What does a detectorist listen to when the radio is full of bad music and news? I need an alternative for me to peruse. Beyond Sight and Sound gets fantastic reviews. A metal detecting show where my thought bubble brews. Thank you, Josh Kimmel, for inviting me to a detecting dork out with guests like yours truly.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoop's company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com.
Hey boys and girls, we are going to talk about S&W shooters and prospectors. What is S&W shooters and prospectors?
We at S&W Shooters and Prospectors help people find treasure.
Did you say treasure?
Yes, treasure. Just listen to this amazing review from our happy customer, Jackie Sparrow.
Chuck was shipshape and a pleasure to deal with. I was able to buy everything that I needed at prices that were shillings less than others. I found my 9 pieces of 8 in no time. Savvy?
I know you're asking yourself, why should I shop at S&W Shooter and Prospectors?
Chuck Smalley has over 45 years of metal detecting experience. He works with each customer one-on-one to customize their setup to match their skill level.
So if you always dreamt of being a pirate, contact Chuck at S&W Shooters and Prospectors and he'll take a great deal for you.
Eye patch and rum not included.
Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show. All right, we're back. We're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for everybody that's dropping into the chat. I see the Bills are in. I see that the Bortners are in. I see Mike is in. Barb. Yeah, looks like they're dropping in. And who can forget to mention Casey from Detecting the Heartland? I can't believe I almost let that name slip by. Shame. Shane. Everybody will be hearing from Casey and Mindy Sunday. We'll be talking a little bit about the upcoming Detecting the Heartland hunt. Should be a good time. Definitely. So, links in the description and in the chat. First and foremost, our friends over at Shooters and Prospectors, Extreme Scoops, DETECTEES.com. Oh, TheRingFinders, A.I.P, Midwest Refineries, Terry Shannon's website, Nokta Makro website, Legend update page. Now we are on version 1.07. Now remember, if you were one of the first to order a Legend and have not updated, you're probably running on 1.04. Now we're on 1.07. So, very, very good of them to be putting out the updates. We've got All Metal Militia, I Treasure Hunters, Metal Detecting Central Illinois, The Relic Hunter, Detect America, and Metal Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound Facebook groups. I don't mention it near as much as the other Facebook groups, and I probably ought to change that. I mean, the group has been around for a while. And it's nice to see people post up the prices that they receive on the show in the Metal Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound Facebook group. Either way, though, as long as we see them, we're happy to see them. So hopefully people are posting up their prices from these shows. Definitely. Also, we have All Metal Militia, Detect Ed Outdoors, Ohio Metal Detecting NYC, and Crazy Spider Adventures, all on YouTube. So there is that as well. Let's see here. Casey, you work more retired, it seems. You know, Chuck's got a point. He seems to stay very, very busy. Mike Boyles is in. Chuck is in. So we got Florida peeps in here now. Very cool. And for those that are wondering, I believe I have mentioned it before. Oh, they're already getting wired in the chat. That's the way it goes. Hey, First Capital Digger in the house. Welcome aboard. Don't forget to check out their Facebook group as well. First Capital Diggers. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it before. Obviously, we knew Detect America, Frank and the gang wasn't going to get all the prizes given out for their 10,000 member blowout last week. I believe it was a Walker half that Chuck had donated. It has not been given out yet. The copper rounds that Beyond Sight and Sound donated, they have not been given out yet. I think there's still prizes from Dan Nelson to be given out, Bigley Tibbs to be given out, Greg, Florida Honey. I believe there is still a couple of prizes from him to be given out. There's still a lot of prizes to be given out. And Frank knows that I mean, he had mentioned something the other day when I talked to him that he had forgotten to give them out. No rush. It, whenever you get them given out, just get the addresses to us. We'll get those coins shipped out to the prospective winners. And speaking of prospective winners, the little bit of fun impromptu contest giveaway that we did, last Sunday? No. There was an archive last Sunday. The Sunday before, we had done a giveaway, courtesy of Adventures in History. It was real simple. You picked a number 1 through 12. If that number corresponded to a prize, you won the prize. Well, while this was going on, and some people were really trying to have winners, unfortunately, we have to have losers. But Mike from Metal Detecting Central Illinois had made a post in the chat that those who lost, he was sending out a consolation prize, for lack of a better term. And it took some work to try and track down addresses of winners and non-winners. Everyone has been tracked down except for one individual. Everyone else has been tracked down. So, a big thanks to Mike. Very, very cool. Looks like Chuck's saying he believes we may have the block of rooms full now. Or coming close. Nice. Definitely. So, there was one individual that we did not have an address for. I don't know if they're in the chat tonight. I have not seen them. But hopefully they know. And if they don't, they may want to reach out to me and see what's going on. But if you were one of the participants of that contest, where we did the 1 through 12, the one that we're missing, you may want to contact me. Shout out to Big Lee. As I said, there are still prices over on Detect America donated by him. Look like some very nice looking knives, by the way. And you all know how I am about that. You just can't beat a good fixed blade. But that's me. I'm kind of, partial to that sort of thing. What do you do? What do you do? And some people, the night of that contest, we practically had to kind of hand it to them in a sense. I mean, some people missed numbers that were called or something, and gotta love it. The show was full of laughs. Full of laughs. Especially when Earl called in and we're like, maybe we should just go ahead and tell you what you can pick. Because at that point, there wasn't a whole lot left there. I wonder what's up with Frank. Different screen name, different Avatar? Either way, welcome aboard. We were just talking about a little bit of Detect America. About the giveaways. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure, unless he's got it off in the mail, Frank's still got a Walker half to send out my direction. That we'll have to see when it arrives. Who knows? Maybe that'll get used as a prize over here on the show or in the group. Maybe it'll get added to the stack. I don't know. And Monday, Frank did mention about the Walker half that Chuck donated for the 10,000 member blowout, and I believe the copper Zombuff that we had donated for the blowout. I don't know, because my phone it can't hold up for the long shows. I don't know if he had mentioned the copper Megalodon round that was donated for the blowout. Now, everybody usually gets a big kick out of the Zombuffs when they see them come up. They just love them copper Zombuff rounds. Likewise, there's a lot of popularity for the copper Megs, too. Definitely. Mike is listening in as he's watching baseball. Well, okay. And build them boxes, Big Lee says. That's right. Frank's either building boxes or building Aquatex. And I guess now would be a good time to mention as well that, he says no, he forgot the copper Meg. Either way, we know it's there. We know it's there. And it has been set aside for a lucky winner on an upcoming episode of Detect America. May not be Monday, may not be the following Monday. Because they have a boatload of prizes to go through yet. So, it is setting off to the side. It's been tagged for them. Definitely. And for those that may not have caught it, the Ugly Book has been updated and reprinted. So those will be available as well. Richard's in the house. Frank says it'll be Monday. I'm not sure what'll be Monday. Detect America will be Monday. I don't know if he's referring to the Walker from Chuck or one of the copper rounds. Who knows? Because, like I said, they have a. It's just there are so. When they mentioned they were going to do a 10,000 member blowout, everybody just came out of the woodwork to donate. And the outpouring was phenomenal. Really, really great. Oh, the Zombuff will be Monday. Nice. Well, people like them. They get a kick out of them. Very popular round. Definitely. But the outpouring of donations was just absolutely phenomenal. Great to see. Like I said, I know Big Lee had donated, Greg had donated, Tom Davis had donated, Chuck donated, I donated, Ronnie donated, Kathy Blau. The list goes on and on. and on. So everything came together. Everything definitely came together. It was great to see all of the outpouring. Mark Hoover had donated. How can I forget that? He had one of his nice timepieces in there, a Invicta, I believe. Sharper is better. We must still be talking about knives. That's right. I'd rather... I mean, if you're going to get cut on one, I'd rather cut myself on a sharp one than a dull one. I mean, at least the cut would be a little cleaner. Not saying that's the best for you health-wise, but it's better as far as cleanup. Believe me, it's a lot easier to deal with. That's just the plain simple truth of the matter. How's it going, Chuck?
Pretty good, Josh.
Well, at least the lines are working. I was a little concerned there at first, because when you get one end of the equation fixed, it's Murphy's Law. Something has to happen on the other side. Minutes before I'm going live, I figured, hey, I'm going to check my audio real quick, and I had none. So I restart the system, and wouldn't you know it, Skype wants to update.
No.
Yeah, but apparently we made it through okay. That's the important.
There you go. Well, Frank says he's making ugly boxes while he's listening. Michael's watching the ball game. Barb's got her bottle cutters and sharps out looking at him. So that makes me nervous. Jill's got them out too. She's got these things through a roller that cuts forms for her cards she makes. So all this sharp stuff going on.
Like a cricket or a caboodle or something.
Yeah. So mass-produced handmade cards. She likes doing that. Barb with her glass.
Right.
Keeps them off the streets.
Well, and then we've got mass-produced handmade ugly boxes and headphones in here, and mass-produced handmade knives, and...
Oh, Mindy's cutting Casey's hair. Sit still.
Yeah. Sit very still.
There goes an ear. Oops.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's one he doesn't use for the show.
There you go. Yep, and his hunt's coming together. They're trying to get it all geared up. And we were talking today a little bit. I got to call him back tomorrow with some ideas. We are going to raffle a gold coin also. And try to for money for the cause that they're supporting.
Right. Always good to support the good causes.
Yep. So, and the same thing, we're doing some stuff with a local group in the Quad Cities there for the I&I Club. We try to make them some money for it's called the Deere Wyman House, and it's publicly supported. It's the family of John Deere home and estate, and It's all supported by public. And it's a beautiful place. It's huge. It sits up in the heart of Moline up there, and it's got quite the history. So we're trying to keep that open to us because they allow us to meet there.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Definitely. And did I catch that right in the chat earlier? The block of rooms is filling up?
Yeah, that's what I was told. Several more went out, and they stretched this to 25 at the hotel, so I'm going to call tomorrow, and since we have some time left, say, hey, maybe you want to extend that. I don't know. And add 5 more rooms or whatever because at that time they were not, early
Right.
enough. It wasn't booked up. So, and that's where the meet and greet's going to be, and that's where we got all of them staying at, pretty much. Make it easy there, and it's 8 minutes from the hotel to the hunt site.
Exactly.
We've got a
If
couple pavilions all set up. I took some pictures of the site and sent it to several of the people, and we got the idea for the vendors down along the road, and then go into the pavilions and hang out. We got a huge area for the hunts, and it'll be a good thing.
nice.
Yep. Try to make it as easy as we can for everybody to pull in, park, walk across. They'll be parking for the vendors right across the pathway going into their booths, and we'll have quite to set up a booth. I've been talking with several of them, and unfortunately Russ Balbrona won't be able to make it, but he has people coming. So,
Right, the influencers will be there.
yep. So, as far as I know, we're still
Right.
working on a couple others on what they're doing with us, and Outdoor Outfitters is sending a big contingency. They'll have a good time, and we've added a few more. We'll announce that later.
Well, the way it sounds, there's going to be more booths than what there was in 2017.
I think so, because well, of course Frank and Ronnie will be sharing one, and
Right.
then it'll be myself and Detecting Adventures or Treasure Hunting Outfitters will be there, and the Nokta booths and Mine Lab, and KG and Ringy will have one, and I've reached out to others, and they're thinking about getting set up and being there, and Terry Shannon's one of them.
Right. Which that's another thing. His fourth book has been published. It is now available on Amazon. I've got the post up on the Beyond Sight and Sound page, the Beyond Sight and Sound group, and it's buried somewhere in my timeline. I don't know. I was posting a number of things lately.
And we've got Andy going to do those 2 mini camps there for people that day. It's well worth your time getting there. Trust me on this.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is included in the registration. You're not going to get a better deal.
Nope. And then we've got DETECTEES there, Debbie from Mine Lab, myself, the Ugly Box Master himself. If you got questions, he'll help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
The whole point of having this style of a hunt is when people come in, they can talk to experts. Literally can talk to experts and get questions answered, have fun in a couple of hunts, some good camaraderie, a good time at the meet and greet. And I would recommend not get into the adult beverages too hard the night before, because we start pretty early. It starts opening up at 8. Registrations, if you're registered, your kids are free in their hunt. So, and Nokta is the major sponsor of that, so there'll be a lot of good stuff there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they when Nokta gets involved, they really kind of roll out the carpet.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
A lot of good prizes to be had.
Yep. So, hey, let's have a good time, learn. Hopefully the weather doesn't do like it's doing here today and be a monsoon.
Well, it wouldn't be much different than the last time.
Right. Get through it.
Well, we'll hope not, but yeah,
He's got
pack
a nice
for
spot up for his hunt, and he's got KG and Ringy coming. And I believe he's coming to our hunt and learning that the type of people you bring in and make contact is very important, and let folks meet them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for a lot of people, this is a chance to pick people's brains, whether it's on a particular model brand of metal detector, particular type of hunting, particular cleaning technique, YouTube video collaboration, maybe. If you don't walk away with gained information.
Yep. And did I say that Josh Kimmel's going to be there doing a live on Friday night?
I had not heard that.
Well, that's what's happening.
I guess it's a good thing
how that works out.
I guess it's a good thing I'm getting that remote system dialed in, which I am not on tonight.
And then it'll be a good time.
That has been a little bit of a trial in its own. I spent numerous days communicating back and forth with Zoom because I use a few different companies' equipment for the shows, and told them what I was up to, and they told me after days of messaging back and forth that it could not be done. So I messaged them one last time and told them, said, well, thanks for your help, and by the way, I recommend you fix that in your future products, but if somebody contacts you saying that they would like to try this scenario, you can tell them, here's a workaround. Because I found it. So that was a big hurdle right there. Just in case, though, there is a contingency plan in place as far as the multiple mics. I think we're all good to go on this end. Now we just got to see what the Wi-Fi will allow out there. When we've had that system on the air, testing it in a couple of recent episodes, we were running completely off of the Wi-Fi here in the house, and things seemed to go well. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best.
Cool. Has anybody been getting out there finding anything is my question. I heard that, I don't see him in the chat, that Per did pretty good.
Yeah, Pear has done pretty well for himself. I think he's trying to get back, and then maybe he'll post up a photo. So I don't want to, pop his balloon too badly. Yeah, we'll see if he posts up anything about it. But if he doesn't, hopefully he listens to the archives. Because if he doesn't, I can't just let that set too long. I'm gonna have to say something about it.
There you go.
Because
that was a pretty amazing day he had.
Yeah, that's definitely, even the copper itself would be just, that's one to be proud of. That's a good day. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he posts that up.
Well, I got out for a while today, and the high point of my day was finding somebody's cell phone. It's an old track Samsung out in the middle of a field, and it'd been there quite a while. So we figure, as you and I spoke before, it was a burner. Get rid of that one.
Yep, and was no longer functioning.
Yep. Bob says he found 20 or so sinkers yesterday. Well, lead prices are going up, Bob.
Yeah. All the metals are going up.
Yes, they are. Watching gold closely.
Oh, yeah.
Silver. Gold's been bouncing 1900. Just kind of playing with the 2000 mark and falling back. The silver's been bouncing around a little bit in that $25 range.
Right. Which, hey, that's still not bad.
And I got a pretty good bucket of brass and copper laying out there that I've been going to sort it out here. And the last time I turned a bucket in, it was 2 years ago when it was up, and surprised myself. I got about $90 worth.
Right. Yeah, all of that stuff has went up. I mean, even just aluminum cans.
Yep.
I mean, if you get into a spot you're digging a lot of them, you may want to entertain the thought of bringing them home and throwing them in a pile. You just never know.
Great.
And the bits of copper wire, definitely want to drag them home and throw them in a bucket.
Oh, yeah.
Copper wire,
That's
copper pipe, any of that.
Any of that.
I had, this been a month or so ago, I had a gentleman contact me. He recently ran into a quantity of insulated copper wire and figured he'd ask me my thoughts on it, because he knows that way back when I used to be pretty heavy into all of that stuff, and told him, said, well, whatever you do, don't burn it. That's illegal. That's a big no-no. But if you take it into the recycler, I said, this is on you. This is the price you'll get if it's insulated. This is the price you'll get if it's not. And
Barb said she was going through, she's got some gold. If you do cash it out, don't cash it out local. Go online
Midwest
to
refineries.
Refineries, because that's where that gold ends up going to. A lot of them from the central USA down to your area. The dealers send their stuff to Midwest refineries up in Michigan. You can look them up online. They're honest. I've never had a problem with them on silver or gold.
And one of the highest, if not the highest, payout.
You're right. They don't charge you for assay. They don't, any of that add-on stuff that you're losing percentage points. I mean, they keep a 10% margin.
Well, they got to be able to make a little bit on it, too.
Right. Keep a 10% margin. Now, if you're going 999 silver and that type of stuff, and if you got ingot of gold in that, then it's straight 10%. There's no, you got to remember, if you're sending them a wad of old beat-up dimes, you lose 10% because it's 90%, and so you're getting 80%. But when you go to the cash for gold and silver place on the corner, they're keeping 35 to 40% because they want to make 20%.
Yeah.
So that's a 40% cut off the top.
Yeah. A few years ago, I got a call from one of the gold buyers a couple of towns away from me. And I had told him, I said, what are you doing calling me? He's like, well, I hear you like to do metal detecting and everything. I said, yeah. But that
Hang on a
means
second. Michael, you are correct. Pop the stones out.
Yeah.
Keep them because that's a bonus to them. If you send a ring in and it has a small diamond or whatever type of stone it is, you get a little extra money out of those smaller stones and that, and some of the rings that you find. If you got a monster, don't send the ring in. Go see a good jeweler.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the chips, they're not really worth a whole lot. I mean, keep them if you can, but the bigger stones, you definitely want to keep those.
And Phil's asking, you take the stones out? Yeah, you take the stones out, simply because there's no weight. They're weighing carats.
Yeah, that does not benefit you to leave them in.
It does not. Keep the stones for yourself. Remount them for the wife. What the heck? If you've got a couple that are fairly decent, just pop the stones.
Yeah.
Yep, because they'll pop them out there, set them aside, then weigh your ring, necklace, whatever it may have been in, and that's the weight they're going to work with. And then the stones, they set them aside, they sort them, they resell them somewhere. So keep the stones, you resell them somewhere or remount them somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know of a number of people that like to keep a hold of the stones from the jewelry finds.
Yeah, Big Lee was just saying he goes into the pawn shops and, you know, they're buying knives and guns and things like that, as pawn shops always do, but pawn shops are not the place to cash your gold in.
No. No, absolutely
and he was
not.
saying some guy literally gave away a big gold chain. And for those of you that may be new to cashing that in, I'll tell you something right now. What you think this gold isn't always gold, get yourself a magnet.
Yeah.
Get yourself a test kit. You can order them online.
Right.
And test for the diamonds. You can get a diamond tester. And it's in your pocket if you work it that way.
And these are not expensive pieces to have in the toolbox, so to speak. The diamond tester, the gold test kit, a scale, a good quality scale that'll weigh in grams, troy ounces. These are not expensive items to have around, and it will benefit you. A magnet's not a bad idea. And take some time to familiarize yourself with jewelry stamps.
Yes. Those marks are very important.
Right.
And if you've got gold that have no stamps, you've tested that gold, it's early, because in around 1900, the U.S.
1906 was the Precious Metal Stamp Act.
Right. They had to start stamping it because so many of those gold rings that were sold by the vendor on horseback or in the buggy were just brass plated with gold. And if you haven't found some of those in the past, you know what I mean? There'll be just a little bit of gold left on them, and they're just brass, and they were sold as gold rings.
Yep. I believe it was the 1906 Precious Metal Stamp Act standardized the stamping in jewelry.
Anyway, I interrupted you. Nelson wants to know why the gold dealer was calling you.
Oh, he knew I was into metal detecting, and well, at that point he had a particular task in mind for me, but he also couldn't help but work in, I buy gold and silver, just throwing that out there in case you ever want to sell. I said, I'm a treasure hunter. I don't sell, I find. Well, you never know. One of these days you may change your mind. I doubt it. And there for a while, he was calling me like clockwork about once every 6 months. You want to sell any of that gold or silver? No. I told you it's not for sale. But you can't blame a guy for trying. And if I were to sell it, unfortunately, it would not be to him, because there again, these places, we buy gold, they don't have your best interests in mind. They're taking a bigger cut than anybody else. And they will see you coming.
When the Hunt brothers tried to take the world over on silver and gold, and it drove the prices up, I sold a lot of silver and gold that I'd found. And
yeah, at that point, that was a great time to get out of what you wanted to.
And I don't regret it. I had enough that it made it worth our while. But looking back then, from what you learn up to till now, when I got into real heavy into gold hunting across the United States and up into Alaska, I learned a lot of valuable lessons, and I learned from some guys that they had straight up brokers. They didn't have your corner, we buy gold places, and they didn't go to pawn shops. They didn't go to coin shops. They worked direct with smelters, and there's some in California, and they add all kinds of fees. There's a couple up in Colorado and Midwest refineries, and those places were pretty honest. But the California group, they wanted a 10% fee here and 10% for their work and 5% here. So by the time you were done, you were losing 25 to 30% off the top, and learn those lessons. And through time and our interconnectivity, you can search out places and look up goldrefineries.com. They're out of Michigan. There's another one I had dealt with in the past up in Washington, and I no longer think they're in business. That was a long time ago. They were as honest as the ones in Michigan.
Right. Midwest is about as straight as you can get.
And you can take raw gold and turn it for gold coin back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like Midwest refineries, they don't just pay you, they don't just send you a check. If that's what you want, that's what they'll do. But
Right.
if you want paid in gold or silver, they can do that too.
Ingot, yeah, they'll trade with you. So that's just a heads up, folks. If you're going to do it, do a little research.
Right.
Make on it.
Or you may want to hold on to it, depending on how much higher gas goes.
Yeah, we ought to have Big Lee call in. He says the guy had a 26-inch chain that weighed 31 grams. 31 grams is an ounce of gold. I don't know what carat it was, but let's say it was 18 carat. 18 carat is 75% gold. So at that point, you're at 3/4 of an ounce of gold. If an honest place is with you, they're going to keep 10%. So right now it should have been, let's say, with today's price, $1,500. I'm just using that as a throw-out number, and they keep 10, 150. You should get $1,300 for it.
Right. But it wouldn't surprise me if Big Lee throws in the chat that it was 150 or less.
Yep. ORH says 250. Michael 300.
Because it sounds like the guy got took. Definitely.
Big Lee says it's 18K, so, that's 75% gold. 14 drops down, I think it's 53% gold, and it drops real hard when you get 10, or you're English or European, they like 8 and 9K.
Mm-hmm.
And so by weight, you figure out back how much gold is really in there.
Yeah, by weight, there's not a lot in 8 and 9 carat. There's not a lot in 10 carat, but...
Okay, Big Lee says $425. He watched the guy sell that big chain for $425.
Wow. But then again, I mean, if people are hard up enough, and that's essentially what these we buy gold and silver places are, they're predators. And if people are hard up enough, they're
Right.
going to take what they can get for it. It just depends. You have to make that call. Am I that bad off that I'm willing to accept a loss like that? And
Right.
sometimes we get in those situations where we are.
Right. And I'm watching some of the coin dealers around here. They'll post a sign up daily on spot on silver and what they're selling for versus what they're buying for. And sometimes the spread is rather large. So,
Yeah.
the same thing goes. And Silvertown is pretty honest. If you look up Silvertown,
Yes, they
make
are.
ingots, things like that. They're pretty decent to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, there's Silvertown not very far from me. Over in Indiana.
Yep. That's where a lot of the dealers here deal with. They build up a relationship with that company, or
Yep.
they build up a relationship, So sometimes if it's a continuous thing, your spread gets a little narrow, and
Yeah, especially if
there
you've
is a
established
shortage right
that
now on-
repertoire
on-
with them.
on some silver bar, I know that. Silver rounds, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and just get online and look around a little bit. The price that they're charging for some of these is outrageous.
Yes. And, one of the things the preppers talk about that are in the silver and gold and how to trade it in case everything goes to heck in a handbasket, silver dimes are easily traded. Quarters, halves, okay. You start getting into silver dollars, they're okay. But if you get into bars and you're starting to do 10 ounces, 5 ounces, 2 ounces, they're tougher to trade.
That's
in
a little
value.
harder, yeah. That's just like in terms of gold. Well, and even a little bit so in silver as well. The fractional.
Right.
And that has really driven the popularity of these fractional pieces up over, say, the last 10 years.
Yep. So, and Big Lee says he got kicked out for interfering in a sale or something.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well,
It is what it is. They're gouging people on lack of knowledge of what they have in hand.
Exactly.
And,
knowledge is power. That's why we say, take some time, familiarize yourself with the markings.
Right.
But don't take the markings for gospel either.
No. Oh, no. There was some unscrupulous dealings in markings. I mean, and then gold filled can be early gold
very
filled.
Misleading.
Very misleading. You think you got something, you really don't.
Right. Yep. That's why I say familiarize yourself with the markings. I was out hunting with a guy, 10 years ago.
Night, Casey. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Sorry about that, Chuck.
He starts to jumping up and down and hooting and hollering. He was all sorts thrilled. He thought he had himself a nice gold ring, and he brought it over and showed it to me, and I just kind of shook my head. I said, well, it's a nice ring. I said, but look in that band again. What did you see? And he says, well, says HGE. That must be the jeweler that made it. Try again.
Right.
Said that's gold electroplate. So it's a nice find, but it's not quite as nice as you're thinking it is.
Right. And if you don't want to put, I'm reading the chat as we go, they're talking about putting things in the mail. FedEx is, when I was dealing gold and coming back and selling gold off, FedEx.
Yeah, I'd trust them before I would the Postal Service.
For me all the time.
Yep. I would definitely trust them before the Postal Service with something like that.
And I mean, finding a nugget, a large nugget, there are places to sell them above. If specimen pieces bring more.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You're kind of getting into a whole different ball game there because nuggets,
different ball game, so
especially if they're over an ounce.
Right. I deal with Alaska Mint on those type of things, and a couple other places because they want those specimen pieces.
Exactly.
Those specimen pieces bring a very nice premium, and a 1 ouncer brings about 25% over spot, and that 7 ouncer was bringing close to 90% over spot.
Yeah, because you don't find them that big very often, and
actually even more was the offer, but it was still light on the offer. He turned them down, but I sold a 2 ouncer last year when it was, and it wasn't a pretty nugget. It was just a nice piece. It was, and I had it appraised at the gold broker in Fairbanks, and I got $5,000 out of it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because at that point they're considered...
They have people coming in, and it seems like everybody coming to Alaska wants to have a nice big gold nugget to take home, and they sell a lot of them.
Oh, yeah. And at that point, you're talking specimen quality, and the larger the specimen, the higher the demand.
Right. And then another step to that is quarter, half, 3/4 ounce that they have a eye appeal.
Yeah, the
real
aesthetics.
Good eye appeal. They're made into jewelry. And if you're dealing with a goldsmith and he's wanting to buy that, there's negotiations going on, because the eye appeal, what he'll make out of it, will bring him a big premium. And that's another angle. All that kind of stuff is learnt through previous engagements of selling stuff.
Yeah, you don't just pick it up overnight.
Right. And Michael's saying, yes, even the jewelry-sized nuggets are premium. They bring a nice premium to you.
Yes,
but you've
they
got to
will.
go to the right place for that. And that's, in Alaska. I mean, you go into a gas station and say you're paying for gold, they pull a scale up. Period. You can trade gold up there all day long. There's places in Wyoming.
Any place in Alaska,
down around
basically.
Veronica. I proved it to my wife here. Years ago, I took an ounce of fine gold into a goldsmith in the Quad Cities, and he asked me what region it comes out of, because everywhere you go, whether it's South Dakota or parts of Alaska, Alaska has so many mining districts, the gold is a different percentage where you get it.
Yeah, different
most
purity.
Most of the gold up where I'm getting it's between 88 and 90%. And it's dealt with that way. But then there's silver and there's platinum in there. So they do a test on it. And you turn in 10 ounces and you're paid at the current rate for that site. But you get into South Dakota, that's only 64 to 67% gold, because there's a high copper mix in it.
Right. And all of this stuff plays into that dollar sign.
Right. And certain golds in places are recognizable to me. I've seen enough of it. I literally can tell you what region it came out of because of the color and such. Some of the richest gold, Wyoming, Georgia, NorCal, and certain parts in Alaska can be up in the 92 percentile, or maybe a little better. So that all changes when you're dealing in weight.
Absolutely. They're definitely getting, some of the listeners are definitely getting schooled tonight.
And then your dimes, cull out anything that needs to be culled. You've got, unless you have an extremely high grade mercury dime from 39 to 45, they're silver. Washington quarters.
Right. Unless you've got, a key date or semi-key.
32P. Or something extremely high grade in Benjamin Franklin's and such. They got to be high grade. Your walkers, same way. You've got what they call, it's not cull silver, it's average circulated silver. That's saleable items if you need cash.
Yeah.
Unmarked gold rings, test them, put them away for a while, watch your gold prices. Right now, it's a seller's market.
Yeah, and
it could go up over 2,000 yet with the world in crisis as we are today.
And I had even mentioned that a while back, that if you like to buy, now is not necessarily the time to buy. It's a seller's market out there right now.
Right, and there's a lot of hoarding going on right now.
Yes,
People
there
are
is.
afraid. They're holding this stuff because of value
uncertainty.
Of paper. My old man taught me on investing. He sat me down in his office, and he said, I want you to look around you. Here's what you invest on. And he's pointing at things in the office. that he had around there. He said, anything oil,
Right.
anything metal, don't invest in paper.
No.
And he was right. He said, you don't invest in paper, you invest in what we use. And the .com era killed a lot of investors. And I see today Netflix and those outfits, people are bailing out of them. Netflix crashed. It's just paper. it is not a produced good. It's a TV that you can lease in, and people, they found out that how they put that shared passwords. John Doe has Netflix, shares his password with the neighbor. Now they both got Netflix.
Exactly. And that actually resulted in a change with Netflix accounts, where now if you want, so they've limited those accounts to a certain number of devices. Say, for this much a month, you get 3 devices on the account. You want more than that? You want to give your password to John Doe next door? Well, you've already got your account maxed out with devices. You need to upgrade your account to the next higher priced account. And maybe you get an extra 2 devices or whatever.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with this site, but Frank just asked me how much can I sell a Zinklin for. Believe it or not, go to coinflation.com.
Yeah.
And you can find out the actual monetary value of a zinc painting. And it's scary low. Coinflation.com, it will, you click on quarters. Let's say you got 50 Washington silver quarters that have no collector's value.
Right.
You dial it in at today's melt, boom, it pops up and tells you less than 10% what they're worth in dollars.
And you can do the same for scrap gold and silver, too.
Yes. It gives you a rundown on the values at melt on world gold coins that are common, like the British gold coins. You can look up U.S. gold coins. Like Barb, you can look up the gold weight and value today for the $1 gold piece that you got.
Yeah. And if you get onto their website, you can even do that with Canadian coins, too.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes. It's all out there. It's nothing like it used to be. Yep. I use Coinflation all the time, too, ORH.
And they also have a very handy smartphone app if you people don't have computers and just use your smartphone.
And Kitco's on there to watch metals move.
Yep.
And the Dow Jones and everything. You can go right to Kitco, and there's your gold, silver, platinum, palladium, Dow Jones Industrial, the Nikkei, all that stuff. The European market, the European fix on gold and silver. It's all right there, and you kind of start learning how to use it. It'll help you if you do end up selling something. Don't walk into the pawn shop and pull it up and say, well, it's worth this according to Coinflation. Well, we don't pay that, but you can put them in the corner.
Right. They'll at least know that they're not dealing with their average dummy, so to speak.
Right. ORH says it's $19.46 current silver for a Doug Morgan. I ain't selling. Well, no, I wouldn't either. It tells you what the silver rounds the U.S. Mint puts out are worth in silver melt. If you bought a MS-64 up through 70 and you paid a premium, no.
Right. Yeah, I mean, these we buy places, they love to see people bringing pieces like that in because they're making a mint.
Oh, man.
I mean, if I could get somebody beating down my door with pieces like that, I'll sit here and buy them all day long.
Right. Right.
Wouldn't have any qualms
about it. This is the kind of stuff
it.
that you're going to learn from people at our hunt. There are people there that trade in this, they work at this, and it's well worth your time to come to some of these hunts where people are brought in to talk to you about what you're finding. Now, if you're finding a ring with a big mine-cut diamond in it, Barb says she's got some mine-cut diamonds, you have to seek out a specialist to look at those diamonds, give you a true value.
Right.
Not the pawn shop.
No, not the pawn shop at all. You're only cheating yourself, unless you feel like you're in that situation where you have no other choice and you'll take what you can get.
Well, that's where that guy with the gold chain probably could have put it up for pawn.
Exactly.
And got about the same that he got, and then pay it back off and get his chain back.
Right. Or at least knowing the knowledge. Yeah, at least knowing the knowledge, you may be able to say, well, okay, I am in kind of one of those situations where I need the money, I'm hurting for it. But at least you'll know how to maximize your return.
And I'll tell you, it's getting tight. My son likes $2 bills. He collects $2 bills. Local bank down there, he come home and he comes up to me and said, I want to show you these $2 bills I got. They were all series 1953 red seals.
Oh.
I said, take $100 and go back and see how many more they got.
Right.
He brought back, somebody brought in stacks of 1953 red seals, $2 bills, and out of that, he got about 50% are crisp. Unfolded.
You don't see that very often at all. That's very uncommon.
And then here's one that would make you shake. One's a star note.
Ah, nice.
Yep. And that had folds in it. And he said, what's the star mean? I said, that was reprinted because somebody sent in a damaged one, and they reprinted to replace it.
Yep, that's a replacement note.
Red seal $2 bills. And I said, let's get holders for these crisp ones, and then the rest of them, just put them in a book. And I said, so we looked up the value. They're $2.50 a piece if they got folds in that in them. But his crisp ones are $5 to $7 a piece right now. I said, take them down, sell them.
Yeah, he did good.
Keep some for a collection. And I said, keep that star note because you'll probably never find another one of those.
Yeah, that's nice.
That was
he did
good. In the
good.
back the past 2 weeks. Then he bought several rolls of quarters, and he come home and he says, check this out. And he showed me the end of the one roll wrapped in a red wrapper. One of the rolls is an old-style wrapper.
And is that machine wrapped or hand wrapped?
The hand wrap, I believe, but he got a complete roll of 64 quarters.
Nice. He did very well.
Yes, he did. I looked at him. I said, oh, gosh, I'll give you your cash back. He said, no. So he coin roll hunts a little bit, and then he got those $2 bills.
Yeah, I will occasionally myself.
Yep.
You just never know where it's going to show up.
It's tight, and people are taking stuff out of the deposit boxes and things like that from Grandma and Grandpa's estates. They don't want to. Very few auctions going on right now. Right. It used to be a list of auctions every week in the area where they had all kinds of stuff. They're doing instead, and Big Lee just bought some coins, he said on here, out of an estate sale. They're doing estate sales instead of having auctions.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And with a lot of this stuff going on too, as much as I hate to say it, because some people think it's silly and maybe it's kind of cutting my own throat, but it pays to check those coin stars because people are taking all of this change in so that they can get some extra cash in their pocket, and the coin stars will usually spit out silver coins. Check them returns.
They dump them. The weight's wrong.
Exactly. And a lot of people think that's not possible, but you would be surprised how many silver coins you can pull out of coin stars if you happen to be lucky enough.
Yes. Yes. Barb's talking about the brooch she got. It got broke up because her grandmother, sold it for $300 just for the platinum, and it had a lot of mine-cut diamonds in it. It's too bad it got broke down and sold out, and the kids all got a few of the diamonds. It sounds like. Mm-hmm. Oh, keep your eyes open. I've been in the gas station here locally one day, and the kid behind the counter called me over. He said, "What's this?" He holds up a walker.
Right.
I said, "It's a walking liberty $50. Oh, it's good tender then. Yeah, I'll buy it if you don't want it. I said, "What do you got in it?" He said,
50 cents.
50 cents. It went in the till. He reached in the till. There was 21 of them in there. Somebody bought a tank of gas with walkers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A few years ago, well, it's been more than that now, but at one point I used to work in retail and happened to hear some of the cashiers talking. Somebody had come in earlier that day and bought a pack of cigarettes. Now, at that time, a pack of cigarettes was $6 or $7. And they paid in Morgan silver dollars.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and the cashiers, usually they would keep stuff like that off to the side for me. But one of the head cashiers, her husband had her trained very well to keep an eye and ear out for such things. And when she knew they were there, she snatched them up quicker than you could snap your fingers. And I didn't get a chance to get them. So she made out very well.
Yeah.
Somebody either had no sense or were really addicted to cigarettes.
What's fun to do, and I've done this a couple times. We end up finding some Indian head pennies or a buffalo nickel. No date. You can't read them. Go up and slide one paying for something.
Yeah.
And walk away and sit back and watch the reactions of the cashiers.
Yeah, because a lot of them, they don't know what it is.
A no-date buff, you'll see them 15 cents a piece. Try and get that. But to slide one across the counter, literally, I had one gal ask me one day, I was doing that just to see reactions. She says, "That's not real."
Right, I can't take that.
Yep. So I dug out another nickel and handed it back. Her boss had walked by, looked at it, and said, "That was a buffalo nickel, dummy." I heard her say that. I was walking away. "What's a buffalo nickel?" "Well, it was worth more than a nickel." I started laughing and walked out the door.
Right.
I'm thinking, and Travis, what he does is occasionally with a new date $2 bill, he'll go in and pay for something at the gas station with a couple of them.
Yeah, because a lot of people,
tell them they aren't real.
Exactly. A lot of people, they don't know what they are. They don't see $2 bills. You don't see very often at all anymore.
Nope. He passes them. He loves to do that on the new ones, that kind of stuff. So
probably 25 years ago, I think I had at least 100 or so of them that were in sequential order.
Oh.
Yeah. And anymore, I mean, and you figured, well, even 25 years ago, some people didn't even know then what a $2 bill was. But now, it's even rarer to find someone that recognizes a $2 bill for what it is. A lot of people think it's fake money.
Right.
Especially the younger generation.
Right.
Because they've just not been exposed.
The $2 bill got a bad rap.
Yes, it did.
Because it was used in houses of ill repute for $2.
I was waiting to see how you were going to word that.
Well, that's the truth. So,
right.
And they continue to make them.
Yeah.
But they still have a bad rap, so people don't pass them. They don't know what they are for the most part. But you got to remember, we got a generation that can't make change back to you without having a machine tell them what it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. It's sad to see sometimes what society has become. But what do you do?
Yes. It's crazy. They can't break down a $1 bill back to you in the change that's meant to come to you.
Yep. And so, they need either that digital display in their face, they need a calculator, they need a pen and paper, something. Nobody can do simple math.
No.
When you ask them to do it, they get this deer in the headlights look.
Yes, they do. And the other thing is, for the most part, the younger ones, up maybe into their 20s, don't know what a silver dime or quarter may be worth in its monetary value beyond a quarter for its mineral value. And they're taking it in change all day. I've gotten a lot of change back from them. You know, you got somebody behind the counter that's older and understands silver. You don't see it. It comes in, they put the proper money in to cover it and keep the silver. But you got the young, they don't know what it is.
And a lot of times, especially if you've got...
what a Walking Liberty $50 is, and this wasn't that long ago. I looked at him and said, it's a Walker. I bought out what he had in the drawer.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, especially if it's an older person behind the counter like that, those silver coins that just got passed across the counter don't even hit the drawer.
No.
I mean, they've already got it in their pocket and throwing something in the drawer to cover it, make sure their drawer doesn't come up short. It's harder and harder to get a hold of that stuff that way, because especially people that have worked a register for any given amount of time now and they know what to look for, they're keeping an eye out for it for themselves or for a friend or something like that.
So, you know, it's crazy. Well, we're on over tonight.
Yeah, where did the time go?
Yeah. And I see John White finally figured out, he had movie night with a wife. That's what he's saying.
Vacation and movie night.
He better show up.
Wow.
Know her well enough, he better show up.
You're right. Yeah, he does if he wants to take vacation again.
Yeah, John says he sees silver about once a month in the cash drawers pop up.
Nice. Not bad. Not bad. Gotta see, and that's the thing. You have to cast your net wide and maximize your potential. The silver's just not out there to be dug up in the ground. It can be had in the coin stars, the cash drawers, the banks, the coin rolls, your pocket change. You just never know.
Right. And Big Lee was talking. He had a customer buy a gun with cash and silver dollars. I used to take trade on silver and gold against firearms. I've even done it firearms for metal detectors, and old rings, coins for metal detectors, things like that. The guys had found and decided they wanted to trade that in. I took it in on trade. Of course, I cautious, check everything, weigh it, look everything over. But if it was a good deal, it was a good deal.
Right. And that's, like you said, you have to be cautious and look everything over, because there are, unfortunately, some pretty clever fakes out there.
Oh, there are some dandies out there. I've seen some silver dollars that they were trying to teach us at the club. A guy brought them down, and halves, early ones, teach us you got to weigh them.
Yep.
Even in PCGS holders.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're that good. They make good PCGS holders. The one way you identified that was by the number.
And you can
because
still
it has
do that
its own
today.
Set number on it.
Yep. And you can still do that today. Go to their website, look that number up on their website. They keep a photographic example and see if that matches
Correct.
what's in that holder.
Because he got burnt buying them. And never realized it till somebody caught on to it. And it cost him a lot of money because a couple of them were high-grade Morgans.
Yep. I had a guy that
So
I knew a guy.
Numbers, they were false. Broke them out of the containers, weighed them. They were not the proper weight.
Yep.
And diameter was almost perfect. But the weight was way off.
I knew a guy that ran across, I think it was 35 silver dollars. Thankfully, he didn't pay for them. And he sent me a picture of them. And I said, well, the picture doesn't look bad. He says, yeah, but you're going to want to see these. And he brought them over to show them to me. And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, these don't look bad. I said, this is some really poor workmanship, because the obverse and reverse do not match to the design that it's supposed to be. I said, but even better, come over here. And I walked out from under the shade with two of them and started kind of letting the sunlight glint off of it. And told him, I said, you see that? And he's like, yeah. I said, they were doing okay, but these are a little poor too, because the silver's so thin you can see the brass planchet starting to shine through.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They were all fake, every one of them.
Our world of detecting that there's counterfeits on, you go down, especially, and Barb should pay attention on this, some of the Civil War stuff. My God, I've got...
oh, yeah, that's a big money market.
Big money market. Fake CS stuff. Fake slave tags. Big thing. Faked slave tags. Go to J.W. Mosby's out there in Orange, Virginia, and Mr. Silva, he has examples of fake versus real. He's also got it in his Civil War trader book. And you got to have a sharp eye. You got to know what you're really looking at when you deal with that stuff.
You really do, because some of these are made so well that if you don't know what you're looking for, it's going to cost you, and cost you dearly. And it only takes once of making that mistake to learn your lesson, once you've been told by someone who does know what they're looking for that you just shelled out a lot of money for a replica.
Right. Same way with firearms. Early firearms, my God, you got to watch them. If you're dealing in old Colts or old Smiths or some of the other rare ones, you got to have somebody. I would have stuff come in, and I'd tell them, I don't know enough about this. I'm calling a buddy of mine. I'm doing the same thing the Pawn Stars did, but I was doing it before they were on TV, because I had a Colt single action come in, and it just looked too good. It was just too good to be true to me, with an Ainsworth mark. And if you guys know firearms, the earliest Colt single actions had military marks, and one of the most copied as an Ainsworth with an A stamp on it as a military inspector, and it just looked too good. And a gentleman that lives outside of Thompson, Illinois, is one of the top dogs on Colt firearms. I called him. He said, I'll be right down. I sent him some pictures. He come down, and he went through every point on it, and it was perfect. It fell in, and I said, I'm sorry. I told the gentleman, I said, look, I'm sorry, but I'm being cautious here because it just looks too good. Because I was asked to do an appraisal, and I told him, I said, I can't put my name on your appraisal sheet if I'm not 100% sure.
Right. I need to make sure my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed on this one.
Because we were dealing with a 6-figure pistol.
Yeah. Yep. And if you speak out of turn and misinform, boy, people are upset when they find out otherwise.
Yeah. The lawyers are not happy.
No, not at all. Not at all. But that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah. And John White, you are correct. It's sad people go out of their way to create fakes.
It is.
There's money in it. And,
right.
You know, that's why the U.S. has spent so much time and money to try to make our currency fake proof, and they still haven't been total on it. So that's why they go in the store and they're marking it with a pen and they're looking for stripes in there and they're trying to check things out. And, you know, it used to be, the $100 bill. Now it's the 20s and even the 10s. And you got to mark them. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And it's unfortunate. I mean, just when they think they've found a way to deter, there's other people out there with ill intentions that'll find a way around it.
Yeah. And Barb, I'm familiar with that CSA buckle. That was recently that a faker had put one up saying it was found. Yeah. So, in Big Lee, the German pistols, especially Luftwaffe, World War II, any of the Lugers and Astras and things that were made, and man, they make a lot of fakes of those. They bring
very
big bucks.
Counterfeited. Mm-hmm.
Very counterfeited. So keep your eyes open, your ears open when you're dealing with somebody. You really want it. Don't let it cloud you to not maybe get a second opinion on what you're buying.
Yeah, don't let it cloud the judgment. Knowledge is power.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. Well, sir, good evening to you. Everybody get out and find something if you can. We are actually going to go above 60 degrees this week. That's going to be a first for a while, and we may even touch 80 one day and 70s. So maybe spring is creeping in here.
We may touch 80 this weekend, but it'll be with rain.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Right. Well, everybody stay safe out there for us and go out and find something cool.
And post up the photos.
Yeah, put up some photos. We love talking about what you're finding.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Have a great night, buddy. Everybody else out there, too.
You too. Thanks for the call, Chuck.
All right, bud. Bye-bye.
And Chuck's right. We did actually run on for a while there, but man, there's some good information in that episode for those who choose to listen to it. We're not just pulling your leg there. There is definitely good information to be had. I may even have to relabel this one. We'll see what happens. Either way, that's the way it goes. That's the show. Tomorrow, Shelley and Dawn. Can you dig it? Simulcast, YouTube, Facebook, Monday, Detect America. Handing out some more of the 10,000 member blowout swag. Check it out. That's a show. That's a wrap. We're out of here. Have a wonderful evening, folks.